I've been getting a lot of questions about who my grandparents are and what they did because of the clothes that I've shown you that I inherited from my grandmother. So I thought it's time that I give you guys the full story. My grandparents are the founders of Johnson Products, Afro Sheen, Ultra Sheen. They were the first African American company to go public on the stock market. They also helped fund Soul Train. This is Don Cornelius at my grandfather's birthday party. Before I continue, if you guys want a more in-depth story on who my grandparents I highly recommend checking out my grandfather's memoir, Afro Sheen. He's 98 and he wrote a memoir and it's incredible. A lot of the stories that I read in this book I didn't even know about. It talks about the beginning of his career, you know, getting a small business loan of I think $275 and building an incredible company, his relationship with his wife, kids, funding Soul Train, his relationship with Martin Luther King Jr., just everything. I highly recommend checking it out. I'll link it in my bio above. But yeah, let's get started. So the number one question that I get asked is if my grandmother worked in the fashion industry and is that why she has an incredible array of clothes? And the answer to that is no. She was a business baddie. She worked with my grandfather in the company. My grandmother always loved fashion and had an eye for it. This was when she was younger, before the company started, with her three sisters. I mean, she looks beautiful and well put together. My grandmother also understood that because she was a black woman that she would have to be dressed exceedingly well just to be taken seriously in society and seen somewhat of an equal. And because of how successful the business was, my grandparents were often invited to very lavish, exclusive social gatherings and events that were predominantly white. And my grandmother used that opportunity to dress exceedingly well and in designer pieces to shift people's perspectives on how they viewed black men and women and showcase black excellence, something that wasn't really seen as much in that time period, which I think goes back to the Johnson Products motto and, you know, about embracing your natural hair texture regardless of the negative stereotypes placed upon it, showcasing black excellence and black representation in a different light, you know, not whitewashing yourself to better fit society, instead embracing, you know, the features that you were born with. Sorry, I just had to show you guys this iconic photo of my grandmother on a boat that was actually featured in Vogue a couple years ago. Unfortunately, my grandparents did get divorced. They later got remarried, but during their divorce, my grandfather gave my grandmother company, which is where you get this iconic magazine cover. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, but if you guys are interested in knowing more about my grandparents, I highly recommend checking out my grandfather's memoir, Afro Sheen, and I'll link it in my bio, and that's it. Okay, love you guys. Bye.